Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this consultation series. We're going to give you all kinds of tips and tricks for effectively and properly lighting up your home. If you want to get your free consultation, just shoot me an email at cal@lightingdoctor.ca. Send me a few pictures and we'll give you a video presentation of what lights are going to work best with your property, or go and visit us at lightingdoctor.ca or go check out all our videos on YouTube.
Hey, Jesse, thanks for sending in your pictures here. Yeah, I'll definitely give you some ideas, and yeah, I agree with you too. I mean, pot lighting and stuff often looks great. The reason I like landscape lighting, especially uplighting it, is because you kind of get two effects. Not only you're uplighting the features, but in some of the areas, like I'll show you, it also hits that top soffit area, and it almost looks like you have path lights because you get some reflective light down. So you're kind of doing two things with one light. So that being said, I know you said you're doing some of the barn lights, which I love that look. I'm still going to make a suggestion for some accent lights and some lighting on the house, even though you have those there, because what we typically find is that people don't keep those on all the time. If that's something you're going to do, great. But the other reason I like the uplighting too is because not only does it just highlight this area here, but it highlights, up top where we want to kind of highlight the whole house. So another way around that too is sometimes people will put lights like that where they're not the barnyard lights, but they're the lights that kind of shoot up and shoot down, and it kind of creates that same effect. But again, it's slightly different usually than landscape lighting because it's usually a lot of a brighter light and not something that people keep on all the time. And also because it's it's a 110 volt power, it does use more electricity than a low voltage. So it's just something to consider. So I will make those recommendations anyway, even though you have those lights. But again, it's your property, so if it's something you don't want to add, I mean, by all means, you guys don't have to put them. It's just something I know from experience that people who don't typically say afterwards, oh, I wish I had put them because I don't leave those lights on all the time and everywhere else looks good except where I didn't put those lights. So anyway, to get to my suggestions here, what I would do is I would use a series of accent lights for sure. Just these guys will work for most of the areas. With that being said, a couple of the garage areas, because you don't have the driveway and stuff in yet, I will make a suggestion for that. So with those uplights that I just showed you, I would try and get them at both sides of the window here. You don't want them too far back, kind of right in the bed where you have it here, maybe 12 to 18 inches back. You want to have them shooting almost straight up because you want to really highlight the front of the house and kind of show the texturing of the siding and stuff. And I know it's not the siding that you're trying to highlight, but you're just trying to make the house inviting and look as nice as possible. So by having those two accent lights on both sides of the window here, I would definitely do that. And I would probably even try and I would probably try and get it right here and kind of right here, and just have that that symmetry. So wherever you have it, whether it's this far from the window, then you want it that far from the window on this side, right? So just having that symmetry. What you could do too is even just have them, I just don't know how much this sticks out, but if you can get them far enough back, and even you could just have two kind of shooting straight up here, that would do a really good job of getting most of this area. Plus you have the white trim, which is always great because it creates more reflective light and makes those stand out more. So I think if it's possible, I'd probably try and get two kind of right in here. I would still look at trying to get two accent lights kind of by the door in this area here. The reason being, like I said, again, it's just a different, more inviting look that's on all the time. But if you have both those barn door lights in this area, you could easily get away with not having them. And instead, what you might want to do is just have maybe a path light and a path light in this area, just to kind of help highlight the step area a little bit, even though you have that light. And then just make that front area a little bit more inviting. And then as you go along this side, this is where I would use more of the uplights and the accent lights. So just, I would probably have an uplight in here and probably have an uplight in here just to highlight this area a little bit. Again, because you have the nice white trim, you do get some reflective light. So if you have a bed or anything in here, it generally will cast a little bit of reflective light back down, so you can avoid using a bunch more path lights in here. But with that being said, what I like doing a lot of times too is, so say for example you do decide to put two accent lights in here, well then I might do a path light here, kind of a path light in the middle, and then another path light here. And all that does, it creates a balance of some uplighting here and some downlighting down here, as well as highlights whatever you might have in the bed, plus the hardscapes and that you have. So if you like the barn door lights here, which I think you could probably get away with just having those here, I would do my accent light, and then I would probably, if you were to do that, I would do a path light in here, a path light in here, path light here, and then have my 2 accent lights here. And then if you wanted to, you could balance this path light out with another one on this side, and you have your 2 accent lights kind of in the middle. So that's kind of how I would do this front section here. On this area over here, you have your barn lights, which, by the way, I do love that look. I think it looks great. What you could do, and I think would be a cool option, is actually having 3 in-ground lights down at the base of the garage. Now, if you're pouring concrete on this, you can get a sleeve that they fit in, and then just concrete around it. Leave a little bit of a junction box below that you can have the wire going to, and some conduit to run that wire. So just if there's ever an error or an issue that needs to be fixed, then you can still pull those lights out and pull that wire out. And having 3 of those accent lights in here not only highlights this area, but then you're going to be pushing the light all the way to the to this top section here, which is what I like, because otherwise you're going to kind of have a little bit of a dark spot here. So I feel like you're going to want to try and get some kind of light up here. The best way to do that would be, like I said, is in the driveway. Just run some conduit with some junction boxes at where each of those lights going to go, and then basically you just have a sleeve that light goes in, and then you can highlight this whole area. If you don't want to do that because you have these lights, then you probably want to look at trying to get some kind of light to this top. 2 ways of doing that. You can either mount a couple lights on here, but I think it's going to be tough to hide the wire. So a lot of times what we'll do too is actually you can just run the wire up the eaves trough and along the edge of the house, and then have like 2 of the accent lights that I just showed you, but have them shining down, and then it highlights this whole front area and gives you a very subtle light down here, which won't take away from your barn door lights. Now, obviously a little more work because you have to get up there, but it's very easy to run the wire up the eaves troughs, make your connections. They're all waterproof. You can make them right in the eaves trough, and then you can just tuck your wire along this front edge of the house or on the roof. It's super easy to do. Nobody will ever know it's there. And then the last thing I would do is I would probably try and highlight this second story here. And the way I would do that is I would just use, again, a couple of accent lights, and I would mount them, kind of here and here. A lot of people get worried that you're going to have them shining here and they're going to be shining in the window, but because it's a very subtle light, it's rarely the case where it's too much light. The only thing I would say with these lights and with these ones here is that you want to probably throw in a hex baffle. All a hex baffle is, and sorry, I just don't have a picture pulled up, but it's a little honeycomb filter that goes over the lens, and all it does is it just helps deflect the glare a little bit. So when you have in areas like this where it's kind of shining a little bit more towards the house and towards the windows, or here where it's going to be shining down, you don't want to be looking directly at that light, and the hex baffle helps with that, just to dilute that a little bit so you don't have a light shining right in your eye. But anyway, that's how I would tackle this project. I love the blue and the white. I know that from experience that works really well with the landscape lighting. The white really pops. You got some nice first story and second story features here. So yeah, let me know what you think of those ideas, and I can work on putting a kit together for you. If you have a gutter here, I can also suggest some gutter mounts. Would make it really easy to install the lights here. It's basically a little stainless steel bracket that fits right in the gutter that the light just screws into that, as opposed to a ground stake. And then up here, it's really easy to get mounting brackets for that. You can get them at Home Depot or whatever. And just keep in mind that any of the lights have a 1/2-inch thread on them. So whatever mounting bracket you have, like I said, you can get it at Home Depot. As long as it has a 1/2-inch female thread on it so you can screw the light in, you're good to go. And they make them, where you can, I know for lights for a fact that they make them where you could have one mount that actually has 2 lights sticking out of it. So anyway, that's a lot, but let me know if you have any questions, and if you need me to help put a kit together for you, I'm happy to do that. Thanks, Jesse. So over the last 2 years, we put all kinds of do-it-yourself kits, and we're putting out all these videos on YouTube because we want people to understand that it's not that difficult to put in low voltage lighting. A lot of the videos that you've watched on YouTube probably talk about voltage drop and all kinds of things like this. You don't have to be an electrician to install low voltage landscape lighting. We started out as an irrigation company, and we just learned through trial and error and found out it's really simple, that anybody can do it. We've literally sent do-it-yourself kits from everywhere from north to Vancouver, all the way down to Florida, to California, all the way up to New York. So I mean, we've sent kits everywhere, and every single time I get a comment back is everybody's always surprised how easy it was to install these do-it-yourself kits, and especially with the YouTube videos and all the information that we're trying to provide for you guys. We want you guys to understand that it's not that tough. You can do it yourself, and that's why we keep shooting these videos and keep putting this content out there for you guys.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video presentation with some great tips and tools on how to go and properly and effectively light up your landscape. And be sure, if you want your own free consultation video, just send me an email at cal@lightingdoctor.ca with a few pictures of your property, and we'll get back to you with some really cool ideas and ways to go and effectively light your property. And be sure to watch the videos after this one for more tips on how to install landscape lighting, as well as how to light up your landscape the best way possible.